I was asleep. And then I got texts. And my phone wasn't silenced. And I had only been asleep for about an hour. Oh, you guys know how painful that is, right? Like how much it hurts to like be awakened only 1 hour into sleep. Oh, yeah, my head hurts. I don't feel good. But anyway, I read this yesterday, came across this, um, and mm, no, wow. Okay, so there is a very popular account on Twitter called In Minivan Hell. I imagine many people within our activist community probably knows who the actual person is behind that account. I don't. But it's very clear that person has Orange County roots, either lives here or lived here at one time, and knows everybody. I just don't know who's operating the account. I don't know who's operating the account. Um, but she's a very popular account to follow, especially if you're following Orange County politics at all. She's definitely like she appears to be like maybe South or Central OC or something. Anyhow, apparently, I will link you to the Twitter thread. I will link you to the Twitter thread, but be aware that there's some graphic language in this. You may remember that Vern, who writes for the Orange Juice blog, I think it's called, broke the story about Jordan Brandman, um, and the horrible texts that were um, that he had sent, calling his Republican city council colleague the C word, saying that he wanted to rip her breasts off. And it put him in a position where he was forced to resign from city council. And had he not, the Democratic Party of Orange County was on the verge of calling for his resignation. It was some disgust. Plus, our party just passed a misogyny resolution. So, apparently in April, Vern texted an activist. I don't know if I'm a little unclear if this account was retelling somebody else's information or if it happened to her directly. But he was drunk texting, and I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, said, "Suck my genitals." In a private, slipped into the private message, started drunk texting, and then his wife or girlfriend, partner, whoever that is, took over the account and was begging the person to block him and saying, "He's drunk, please block him, he'll just keep doing it." Oh God. I mean, I'll be real, I heard many, many, many months ago, maybe even last year, I heard it a long time ago that Vern does this sort of thing, but I had never seen it firsthand. I had never seen screenshots of it. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. We do have a massive misogyny problem, which is why the resolution passed. And this is also why at the original resolutions meeting, when everybody was discussing it and we were sharing our stories, it was really hard for us as women to go through the release, the process of discussing how we have been treated and how we get silenced and gaslit when we share our experiences. And I know that when I shared my experience, some of the gaslighting things that came out towards me were, I wanted it. First of all, it didn't happen. I imaginated it. I imagined it, right? That I'm just crazy. I'm schizophrenic. I was called schizophrenic. I was. They were telling people that I was saying it because I was in love with him, and he had rejected me. That was another thing they said. That I wanted it. That it did happen, and I wanted it. Oh, and how dare I screen cap private messages showing what had actually happened? How dare I do that? Well, this is a very similar circumstance. Person sends drunk texts, does inappropriate things, it gets captured. Vern, from what we understand, is attempting to become a board member of a local club. And the person who violated me is also a leader of a Democratic club. So I think, fellas, patriarchal ladies, it's beyond time that you take a stand and say no. And say, no, we're not going to let these people be leaders. We're not going to let them bully the women in our democratic society or in any society. We're not going to let them do it anymore. It needs to stop because they will go to any lengths to ruin their victims once they realize that they've fucked up and they're in trouble now. That's certainly what has happened to me. And I fear for whoever this was that Vern did that shit to. Because I know that Vern has a strong network of people. Now is the true test. How will you act, Democratic community? How will you act?